Welcome to Skybroking Commodity Weekly Market Commentary. Disclaimer: this weekly market commentary is for information purpose only. Before taking any decision, consult a financial advisor. Major date of this week has inflation-related data and the major events like OPEC meeting on Wednesday. Now let's see the precious metals outlook. Gold and silver has news like gold prices are still licking their wounds following the bond market sell-off. Eventually, investors will need additional safe havens, so gold might start to attract some flows if the dollar softens as the global bond market sell-off extends. The dollar is slightly softer today, but that doesn't mean it is ready to lose its crown. Precious metals could still remain vulnerable to further downward pressure if inflation does not show further signs of peaking next. Fundamentally, this is a neutral news of precious metals. And technically speaking, until gold closed below 50,500 on daily basis, short covering rally is expected up to 52,668 levels. Until silver closed below 61,900 levels on daily basis, short covering rally is expected up to 64,549 levels. So these are this week's precious metals outlook. Now let's see the energy outlook. First is crude oil. It has a news like the decision to stick to the plan and not increase production faster to several factors. Fundamentally, this is a slight positive news for crude oil, and technically speaking, crude oil may expect a positive range-bound trade in between 7,987 to 8,879 levels. Next is natural gas. It has a news like Henry Hub benchmark price hit a 13-year high of over $8 per metric million British thermal unit as prices rallied amid increased demand for air conditioning. Fundamentally, this is a slight positive news for natural gas. And technically speaking, natural gas may expect a high volatility trade with positive bias. So these are this week's energy outlook. Let's check out the base metals outlook. First is copper. It has a news like in the spot market, transactions picked up after copper prices fell today. This is fundamentally a slight positive news for copper. And technically speaking, copper may expect a range-bound trade in between 725 to 800 levels. Next is aluminum. It has a news like on the supply side, aluminum factories resumed their production more quickly than expected. At the demand side, some downstream companies posted less orders. This is fundamentally a negative news for aluminum, and technically speaking, aluminum may expect a mild profit booking. Next is lead. It has a news like spot market was relatively quiet amid high lead prices. This is fundamentally a positive news for lead, and technically speaking, lead may expect a positive consolidation phase. Next is zinc. It has a news like tightening monetary policy across the globe and sluggish domestic consumption pressure the futures market. This is fundamentally a negative news for zinc, and technically speaking, zinc may expect a negative range-bound trade in between 307 to 359 levels. And finally, it's nickel. It has a news like the new energy vehicle sector was influenced to some extent. This is fundamentally a slight negative news for nickel, and technically speaking, nickel remains in a consolidation phase. For account opening, click the link in the description below. Thank you by Skybroking.